Oh my god, you're copying Cosmonaut Variety Hour is going to sue you. Piece of shit. This was Cosmonaut Variety Hour's idea. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very aware that Cosmonaut did this already. He ranked and reviewed each and every MCU movie in their entirety while giving his opinions and thoughts along the way. But hey, that was almost 2 years ago, it's my turn now. I have already seen each and every MCU movie, but some of them I've only seen once. So to celebrate the release of Disney Plus, and to celebrate the fact that I'm being quarantined right now, I live alone, I literally have nothing to fucking do, I'm deciding to do the same thing and give you my honest review on each MCU movie because, well, you've seen the name of the channel. My opinions tend to be very different to everyone else's. Now, before we get into this, I want to make one thing very clear. A 5 out of 10 is not a bad score. I do not understand people's brains when they see a plain average film, come away from it thinking, that was okay, and then give it a 7. 5 is a midway between 1, the lowest score, and 10, the highest score. So if I give one of your favourite MCU films a 5, don't go crying to me in the comments because a 5 is an average movie, not a bad one. Moving on to that later. Alright, well, enough talking. We're going to do this video by video, starting with Captain America, the first Avenger. Now, I've already seen this film several times. I watched it when I was 12 in cinemas, and honestly, I thought it was utter trash. But then I watched it a couple years later and thought it was actually half decent. And then I watched it again later and thought it was awful again. For some reason, my opinion changes every time I watch this movie, and this time it happened again. For some reason, I had a blast watching this film. I must have been such a naive little kid when I first saw it because, for the most part, this film is fucking solid. The cast is probably the best part of the film. Tommy Lee Jones does the perfect portrayal of a harsh and gritty colonel. Hayley Atwell does a great job of, well, looking like Hayley Atwell. And Marvel took a brave choice picking Chris Evans for the lead after, well, you know. Stanley Tucci is great.
You want to go overseas? Kill some Nazis.
Toby Jones is funny, and Marjorie Tyrell's in this movie? But remember how I said this movie is solid for the most part? That's because in the third act, the film kind of loses itself. We'll get to that. The CGI on Small Steve is actually pretty decent, except when you get to the jawline. Like, what the fuck is that? The script for the film is actually fucking solid.
What is this?
Steak.
What is in it?
Cow.
There's a scene in the film shortly after Bucky's death where Steve is sitting in a bar and he says this.
Dr. Erskine said that this serum wouldn't just affect my muscles, it would affect my cells. Create a protective system of regeneration and healing, which means, I can't get drunk.
Which one of you did this? Some actual craft went into this film. There are so many small yet simple and impactful moments that make the majority of this movie great. At the start of the film, there is such a simple yet effective camera shot.
Come on, soldier.
And later on in the movie, this shot is only on screen for a solid 3 seconds, but it really means something. The relationship between Steve and Peggy is genuine, and the chemistry between the two actors is astounding. It doesn't seem forced at all. That's why they're a fan favourite couple and everyone is dying for them to get together. Now, there's a big reason why this film has such a different tone to a lot of other movies in the MCU. That reason is because it falls under what I like to call the pre-Guardians era. What this means is that the movie doesn't try to be funny at every chance it gets. Its humour falls into place nicely and it only pops up when the film asks for it. It's heartwarming and it does its job really well. There's a scene where Skinny Steve jumps on a grenade to save his comrades even though they've looked down on him, quite literally, the whole film, and it's such a nice moment. It shows he has more honour than Ned fucking Stark. Steve has the exact same mentality after the transformation as well. But there's also a lot of stuff wrong in this movie. Literally 15 seconds after this scene, the Hydra agent tries to steal the serum. Yet he decides to try and blow up the entire base, drawing attention to himself rather than just sneakily taking the serum and putting it in his back pocket. If that happened, then this guy wouldn't have pointlessly been knocked over, and then he would have escaped in his secret James Bond submarine. Believe me, that James Bond thing is a recurring theme in this movie. Just wait. The Captain America moment is also very, very anticlimactic.
Who are you supposed to be?
Captain America.
This is now where the film starts to lose itself. After this scene, the Americans just start a random attack on the Nazis with no planning or subtlety whatsoever. It really seems like the writers took all their time with Acts 1 and 2 and then realised they only had 2 hours of content left to fit into 1 hour of screen time. The film really stops taking itself seriously and just turns into a random action montage instead of a moving backstory. These guys zipline in from the clouds, this guy just wants to die, and there is the worst comeback in the history of screenwriting.
You don't give up, do you? Nope.
So to round it off, the script for the most part is actually one of the strongest in the whole MCU. It just really gets let down by its third act. 7 out of 10. Red Skull hates Brooklyn.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Now I'm also going to do a thing each movie where I give out my Character of the Movie Award. It goes without saying that this is a very prestigious award. Some say even more respected than an Oscar. So, for this film, my Character of the Movie Award goes to... Colonel Phillips. He's funny. So if you like what you saw today, feel free to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Next up is Iron Man. Okay, bye.